Austracker. Get the Austracker experience. This video clip will give you the basics of how to run the Austracker software. First thing you'll need is a web browser. Pretty well anyone will do as long as it has the Flash plugin, which is pretty standard these days. You click on the icon and go through to the login window and use your details to log in. Once you've done that, you'll come through to a window that looks a bit like this. It's called the dashboard, and as you can see, it's broken into three main areas. This section up here to the right is for announcements. It'll tell you about things like when services are due or registration and insurance. Below that, we have an alert window. The alerts can be set to a number of things, such as a speed alert. If the vehicle travels over that speed, then an alert will appear here. It can also be emailed to you and a number of other notifications. Now, this section over here is where we set up groups of vehicles. So you may have, let's say, 20 vehicles in your fleet in 4 different areas. Each group of vehicles can be set up separately into 4 different groups, or however many groups you need. This will help you receive information you need about those different groups of vehicles. During the setup, you can enter various information on a number of variables, including the service, registration and insurance details, and set things like speed alerts. These details then trigger the announcements and the alerts as desired. They can be formal or informal and can be accompanied by a sound if you want that sort of thing. These details can control a large number of items, such as allocated drivers and engine hours, and our clients tell us that these things really help them to manage their fleets more easily and efficiently. So, as you can tell, we're pretty proud of them. Now, there's a lot of detail in here that we could go through, but we'll leave that to another time. By clicking the tracking tab up the top here, you'll see a dynamic display of your whole fleet. By clicking on a particular vehicle, we can see we last had a signal sent to us about 3 minutes ago, and we can see various details such as current speed and location. By scrolling through the history, you can see which direction the vehicle was travelling and when it was doing it. Similarly, you can do what we call a breadcrumb history that displays all of that information graphically on the map, making it really easy to trace the movements of the vehicle. Now, we can vary the style of map from a standard to a satellite, and with labels or without labels. And we can look at the terrain of an area on the maps too. You can also utilize the traffic flows in and out of major centres. So as you can see, it's quite straightforward to run, but still has a lot of power behind it. Many of our customers use our software to allocate jobs, and we do that via the routing tab up the top here. So let me give you a quick look at how that works. This may mean we want to select the closest vehicle to a job for a location, for example. So in this case, I've clicked on the map to select Bacchus Marsh. I also have the option of selecting a landmark if I want to. If I click Locate, the software tells us that this vehicle is closest at 47 kilometres away. We can then send the directions directly to the driver. It's that easy. Job allocated, and the driver's on their way. Now, another feature we're very proud of is our geofencing, which is under the geofencing tab, funnily enough. This allows us to set boundaries for particular vehicles to operate within. So, to set a geofence, you simply click on a start point. Our second click will create a circle. Now, that may suit your needs, but alternatively, we can create a polygon, which allows us to be much more detailed in the geofence we can set. So, as you can see, we can set all sorts of points here on our geofence and come up with whatever shape you desire. This tab also allows us to set routes in a similar way to the way we set geofences, and you can again set all sorts of variables that can tell you when a vehicle goes out of that geofence if you desire, whatever you need it to do. So let's have a quick look at the Reports tab. Now, this tab allows us to create a wide variety of reports, but for this example, let's do a trip report by clicking here. Now we set a number of variables such as the start and end date, and the start and end time, and the type of information we're after. For example, let's see how often the vehicles stopped for longer than 5 minutes. We then click Get Report, and voila, via Flash that we mentioned earlier, we see the data we need. Now the reports, of course, can be exported as needed, and in this case we'll use the Excel option. And there you are, one report, and down the bottom here a very tidy little summary at the bottom. Now the summaries shouldn't be underestimated. A lot of our clients use these for both billing and payroll purposes. They love them. Okay, now back on the Reports tab, if we go back into the software, you'll see this section here is called My Subscriptions. Under this section we have a number of preset reports that we've supplied to you. So these reports have a huge variety of information that they can supply you, and importantly, they can come to you automatically at the date and time that you set. So the reports tell you what you need to know when you need to see it. So there you have it. It's powerful, but very simple to use. Most people seem to leave it operating on the Tracking tab, so that's where we'll leave it today too.
Austracker. Get the Austracker experience.